everybody, welcome back to the Breathe Easy K-Love channel. My name is Siobhan and I'll be doing my CF story for you today. I am really sorry it didn't go up on my initial upload day. I wasn't feeling too well. But let's get straight into the video and I really hope you guys enjoy hearing my story. I was born on the 14th of the 2nd, 1999. My condition was diagnosed 6 months after I was born because I have a really rare gene mutation. Fortunately, back then, when I was born, screening wasn't around, so we had to rely on the very basic things that the doctors had to diagnose my condition, which was the heel prick test and sweat test. I do believe mine was diagnosed by the sweat test. And obviously there were other signs as well, like not being able to gain weight, being in and out of hospital regularly, and just not feeling very well, just not being able to maintain a good health. So eventually it was diagnosed and it was all like yippee. From then on, throughout my childhood years, it was very much in and out of hospital, appointments, checkups, different tests to obviously check different things like liver function, lung function and that kind of thing. Even like physio, making sure I was doing physio okay, and different tips to improve things. Eating has always been a massive struggle for me. You had to have quite a lot of advice on trying to get me to eat different foods. Then when I was 4, quite a scary time in my life, and probably one of the moments that I'm most thankful to have had a great NHS team behind me, is I was diagnosed with ABPA, which is actually an air fungus. However, with a CF, it can flare up as a chest infection. I had this and it actually meant I had to go into intensive care. And I was actually, my parents were actually told, be prepared for the worst, as I may not make it or may not have made it. But luckily all was fixed and I did manage to survive. So it makes me incredibly happy. I know that sometimes when I do talk about it, it does get a little bit emotional, as I can't imagine what it must have felt like for my parents. A really, really scary time. Because from that point up to me being 4, they had worked so hard to get me there, and, just to have that, it is really scary. Being told that, it's quite daunting and overwhelming. So I'm so thankful to my parents. Next up, it was kind of the same thing really, in and out of hospital, routine checkups up until I was about 8, I believe, where I had a really bad flare-up of Pseudomonas and had to go in for 2 weeks then. Then I was fine for another 4 years, I believe. Yeah, 4 years. And then that's kind of when I started going downhill a bit. When you're sort of a child till about 10 to 11 years old, you very much have your parents' help all the time. You have their constant assistance and they're able to do things for you. However, when you get into the ages of double figures, like 12, 13, 14 upwards, your parents want to try and let go a little bit and give you the responsibility. Well, in a lot of cases, this is quite daunting for a CF sufferer. They don't want to suddenly be responsible for all of this stuff, like doing the medications, keeping an eye on physio, etc, etc. And it can be really, really scary. And that was definitely what it was like for me. I couldn't cope, I didn't want to do it, I didn't want to face up to it, and it has been very hard. And I basically ended up with an abscessus infection, which is under the family of TB. And as you can imagine, this was really, really scary. And from then onwards, I've just been put on IVs. At the moment, I'm currently every 3 months. But it all started when this happened and when I started going downhill. At the moment, my every 3 month IVs are treating Pseudomonas. So it's all good. That isn't too serious. However, kind of in between IVs and having treatment, I was actually diagnosed as being partially deaf because of a drug I was put on to treat the abscessus. As you can imagine, this was another pretty scary time in my life. In no way did I ever expect to become deaf. Really sad. Did take, a couple of days for it to really sink in. But yeah, I'm over it now. I'm all good. It's kind of just something I'm used to. It's like just having my ears but with an aid helping them, which is what it is, and that's fine. And then when I was 14, I actually had a portacath implemented just under my skin on this side. And yeah, that's about it really. That is kind of where my CF story takes me now. There has been a couple of rough times in my life. The general thing of not feeling very well with CF is very, very common. You definitely get your days where you feel very set back by your condition and a little bit limited, but there are definitely great things to CF. I mean, I feel like CF has given me a purpose, and it has opened a lot of opportunities for me. I mean, I've become a Cystic Fibrosis Trust ambassador, so without my condition, I would never have been able to become an ambassador for the UK's charity. So I am very, very honoured, and I do feel very blessed to still be here today. So thank you to everyone out there who has made it possible. This is for you too. And yeah, that is my CF story. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next week. Bye!